There we go. I just realized that I'm live, but this was supposed to be a horizontal live, but I guess I accidentally did it vertically. Well, we're not going to let it bother us. Just need to find a placeholder for this thing. My apologies. It's going to be fine. We're going to do it this way. Well, there we go. All good. So this is my second live from Spain. Actually, 2 days ago was the first one. And the topic of today's video is that I actually put a very provocative title there. I wanted to talk about feelings and how exposing ourselves to some mental toughness is basically the same way we deal with physical strength and getting better physically. If we think about what I've been going through lately, I've been very open on this channel about doing my third full-blown reset as an entrepreneur, which started a year and 9 months ago when I started my coaching and online education business. And ever since, I've been trying to ramp down my real estate company at the same time while growing this coaching business. And the hard part has been that since there's been no really revenue with my real estate business because I haven't done anything, and then trying to put all my money into this new thing and just not collecting a salary. And when I've been doing a lot of new construction in the past, that also means that I'm on the hook for certain liabilities. And especially in Finland, there was a relatively, I would say, big downturn, a slump with the real estate market. Especially new construction took a massive hit. Values came down by, I would say, 20 to 25%. So I've been keeping my company operational, and I would say asset rich, but cash poor. I have certain assets that the company owns that I've been trying to get rid of and sell, but the market has been extremely tough. And now it has resulted in a situation where I'm basically burning cash at the same time while holding on to these physical assets. Go back 2 days, and I would say that it's been a pretty steady flow of blowbacks and adversity when it comes to my business. But this Monday, I was dealt with another blow. One of these housing corporations or developments, if you will, that I did, contacted me saying that they have some liability issues and I would be on the hook for that. It's just not that, and typically I would be able to pass that liability on to a general contractor, but not in this case, because my contractor is bankrupt. Guess who's on the hook? Of course, me. So the whole point of this video today was to talk about the feelings part of the equation. And I'm a big believer that if you think about our range of emotions, say it's from 0 to 100. And I would argue that most of us operate within that, middle range of the emotions. And we never expose ourselves to the bottom part of the emotions. When we numb the bad, we also numb the good. And I believe that's because those feelings are extremely scary. And we often forget that mental toughness is the same thing as a physical strength. If I want to get stronger physically, I want to go to the gym and get stronger and grow my legs, for instance, I would start squatting, right? If I have never done that before, I understand that there's some pain associated to that or associated with that. I start with an empty bar and I start adding weight every week. Step by step, I expose myself to that quote unquote pain and I get stronger and I get better at that. But then for some reason, if we think about mental toughness and mental strength, we seem to take a different route. We try to stay in our comfort zone and we forget that it's no different than that physical strength. If we want to get stronger physically, we expose ourselves to pain. Why would mental toughness be any different? So the idea is that you don't try to stay away from those tough feelings. You actually take those challenges head on, you face them, and you try to get better. Okay, Monday morning, which was yesterday, I was contacted by this housing development that said that, okay, I'm on the hook for this stuff. And like I said, I'm asset rich, but cash poor. And since I've been able to sell certain assets, I look at my bank account balance going down all the time like that. And you can obviously assume what the feeling is when you are kind of desperately trying to grow another business while trying to do a managed ramp down with another one. It's not an easy transition. And then it really hit me Monday morning that, okay, actually, if this trend continues, meaning I can't sell my assets and I keep exposing myself to these liabilities, I might lose this business because I'm going to burn through that cash at some point, and then it's going to be really, really tough to justify to myself why this company should even exist. So it can go belly up. And something that I could not have imagined that would happen to me, let's say 2 years ago, 3 years ago, even 10 years ago. But now I have to face that reality. And it means that I need to be able to deal with those emotions. But the truth really is that if I want to get better and if I want to get stronger and all of that, and maybe see my next company do even better, this company did well. I mean, that's not the point. But since I decided to do a managed ramp down, do a full-blown reset, I had to focus on something. I can't keep maintaining both. But if I want to get better and be better going forward, I can't shy away from those feelings. And I need to face the challenge, and I need to expose myself to that little bit every single time it comes. And I think one of the reasons why it's so hard is because if we think about all the decisions in life, we make decisions based on what feels good or doesn't feel good. So we try to either get the feeling or avoid the feeling. And I think these emotional things are especially hard because we're not really used to that. The mental comfort zone is such a strong concept in our mind. And then I started pausing and reflecting, and I asked myself, okay, what's the hardest thing about this whole thing? So let's say the worst case happens and I would lose that one company. Is it the feeling that I'm afraid of, or is it the outcome? And I believe that it's the emotion and it's the feeling that we are scared of. So how do I then approach that? How do I get better if I'm afraid of the feeling of, let's say, losing a company or losing some of that money? Well, isn't it the same thing as going to the gym and trying to grow your legs when you start squatting? You start with an empty bar, you start 1 plates, 2nd plates, 3rd plates, depending on how much you want to grow and how strong you want to get. Hey. So then I'm like, okay, mentally it's the exact same exercise. I first need to understand what is it that I'm afraid of, what is that bad feeling about, and then I get comfortable with that uncomfortable feeling. And I think that's really the thing. But if you think about the whole analogy, let's say this pen represents the top end of the spectrum and the bottom end of the spectrum, and these are your feelings. If you numb the bad, if you never really allow yourself to travel to the bottom of this pole, you can't really go to the top either. Relationships are the exact same thing. And if you think about a heartbreak, somebody could say that, okay, the worst thing that can ever happen to me is that somebody breaks my heart. But I would argue that actually that's probably the best thing ever, because when somebody breaks your heart, it automatically also increases your capacity to feel and give love in your next relationship. Because the same thing happened. You exposed yourself to the bottom end of the emotion range, right? So now you operated here. You wanted to avoid all the bad feelings. Somebody pulled the rug from underneath you, right? And all of a sudden you drop down to 0. What happens? This drop here increases your whole spectrum, your whole range of emotions. And then when you allow yourself to go down here, when you're brave enough, you can also go all the way to the top, right? Makes sense? And I think that's the way it goes. So next time, using the relationship analogy as an example, so next time when you are in a relationship, you're gonna feel that full range of emotions better. Somebody speaks Swedish to me. Ska vi gifta oss? Okay, not gonna comment on that. This is an English-speaking channel, so that's fine. If you don't have anything to say, please write in English, and then I'll be more than happy to reply back to you. But that's how I look at it. So using myself and my own feelings as an example, I came into a very obvious conclusion that, okay, well, that's fine. I just need to get better. I just need to call it toughen myself up with this feeling. And what is the scary feeling about? Okay, is it humiliation? Is it embarrassment? Is it not being able to, keep your promises going forward? Maybe it's all of the above. And then asking yourself, what am I trying to achieve? And then going from there. What else was on my mind? So yesterday recorded another video. Today was this live. 2 days ago was a live. I'm here in Spain for a month, so I'm going to be more active with my content game during these next 3.5 weeks. Why did I come here? I talk about this every time in my videos. One of the first things that you need to remember if you want to increase your productivity is that you delete first. Many people this is the New Year's resolution time, right? Beginning of January still, actually mid-January, January 13th. Many people have made those New Year's resolutions. And you know that roughly 50% of the people, they quit by the end of January. So you're probably halfway through there. I don't know if you are part of that group of people, but I think one of the biggest reasons why that happens is that people keep adding and adding. So they think that, okay, the solution to get better results next year is to just add something to my plate. But often the opposite is true, meaning that you actually have to delete first. You have to ask yourself, okay, what can I get rid of? If I add one thing, I want you to get rid of two. Otherwise, you increase in complexity, you're getting slower, and you don't really see what's relevant anymore. It's all about understanding signal versus noise every morning. When you wake up, you ask yourself, okay, so what do I need to do today? What's that one thing that makes me better, grows my company, I don't know, makes people more happy, or I get more customers or clients, whatever the metric is that you're tracking. That's the thing that you need to be asking yourself. And that's why when I coach my clients, I just had one call with one of my clients, and he was just saying that, yeah, he's going to start writing stuff down next year more, or this year more. And there were a couple of other things too. And I said, yeah, that's fine. But if you ask my opinion, I'm not going to allow you to add that on your plate unless you get rid of something. And then he goes, well, that's more difficult. Then I have to think what I'm going to remove. I said, yeah, that's the whole point, because adding is easy. You just saw it yourself. Adding is extremely easy. You just did it like that by snapping your fingers. You added one thing on your list. But then, it requires a lot more thinking and a lot more capacity to understand what is it that I need to get rid of, what is that I need to remove. So that's how I look at it. But coming back to the original point, I hope I was able to explain this. All the good stuff in life is on the other side of pain, physical and mental. I'm not saying that we torture ourselves intentionally, but I think if we want to unlock that growth potential, if you want to get better, if you want to do whatever you want to do, you just have to somehow be able to comfortably let yourself fall. Not on your face, but in a semi-comfortable, safe environment. What that means in practice is that you fail. You expose yourself to those feelings. If you think about how kids learn, they are put in a situation where they can win and lose in a safe environment, right? A toddler trying to learn how to walk. It's all about failing. They fall on their butt all the time. The parents pick them up and they get frustrated. They start crying. And it's a normal process. It's perfectly normal that happens. So as adults, it's no different. And many people might say that, okay, that's a very pessimistic worldview. I don't think it's pessimistic at all. It's because if it's hard for you to take action, it probably usually means that you are trying to avoid the emotions that are related to those actions, because you're afraid of them. And if you're afraid of them, if you don't know how you're going to feel when the bad thing is going to happen in your life, then you're going to definitely try to avoid the action as well. I always keep telling everybody that actions fix all feelings, and I'm still 100% behind that. But I think that one of the reasons why, because I've been thinking about this, why some of my clients have a hard time taking action, even though we talk about it all the time, they understand the rationale and the reasoning behind it. But I think really that I start to understand more and more how it's actually important to understand the feelings that you try to stay away from. So still the recipe is to take action, and action fixes all feelings. But really the thing is that, okay, first identify, ask yourself, what is it that I'm afraid of? Is it the outcome or is it actually the feeling? And I think it's the feeling that you're afraid of. Then you're like, okay, what's so bad about that feeling? And then it's the same thing, you start exposing yourself to that so-called pain. And then you just start doing it little by little, and you start to see how big of a relief that is, that nothing bad actually happened when you did that. I was thinking of making a longer video about this tomorrow, but I still need to see how I'm going to structure that, the thoughts. What else is going on? Spain is good. The first 6 days have been really sunny. Today was the first partly cloudy day. I changed my training program a little bit too. I'm hopping from one off topic to another, since we covered the main topic already. My training program, I changed my training split a little bit because I started to have a lot of these issues with my body. Frozen shoulder, knee tendonitis, so tendonitis in my right knee, infection in my right foot, all at the same time. And it was like I had a really tough, I would say, 4 weeks. Basically when I left Spain last time, in beginning of December, up until now, basically I battled with all kinds of injuries, and especially this foot infection was kind of it's called a cellulite. It's like a soft tissue infection, and I was on antibiotics for 4 weeks, and it was really killing me that I couldn't train my legs at all. Also a good break. So now that I'm back at it 100%, I changed my training split a little bit. Instead of doing two-way split or 2-day split, meaning upper body, lower body, I'm doing now I train 4 times a week, that's weight training, 2 upper body workouts and 2 lower body workouts. And well, that means that the upper body is divided into push and pull, and the lower body the same way, meaning hamstrings, glutes, calves, and then quads the same way, the same day. And then that's how I'm going to roll it now. The next, I would say, at least a couple of months. So that's the plan. That's really the plan. What else is going on? Nothing really. So am I going to lose my business going forward? I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. But what I'm tracking the most is my exposure to those feelings. And that's how I started this video, and that's how I'm going to end the video as well, that I'm going to be mindful of the stuff that I find myself thinking about. So that's all. It's a bummer that I forgot to change the direction or the orientation of the video, but that's okay. That happens. Next time it's going to be in the right format again. That's all I had. It's all about getting better. And happy, what day is today? Happy Tuesday, everybody. I'll talk to you again the next one, couple of days. Okay, bye.